It's interesting. We see in chapter 2 that Mordecai saved the king from a plot against him and had no reason to. Just Mordecai heard about a plan to kill the king and told Esther to go tell the king, and then the king investigated it and found out it was true. So Mordecai saved his life. And then in chapter 3, the king had commanded everyone to pay homage to Haman, but Mordecai wouldn't bow to Haman. So it's not like Mordecai is rebellious at all. In a sense, it's that Mordecai bows like only to God, and he's a really good person because he literally saved the king's life, and did so only out of goodwill. And at the same time, he's not going to bow to the king. So he has a different king, which is interesting. Then it's interesting on line 8 that Haman said to the king, "There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom. Their laws are different from those of every other people, and they do not keep the king's laws, so that it is not the king's profit to tolerate them." And so this is literally talking about Mordecai, who saved the king's life, and he's saying it doesn't profit you to have these people in your land because they don't follow your laws. And so it's really interesting because a king would want these people, I think, in his land, obviously, but this is tricky because it's deceit, right? It's manipulation. It's mind manipulation in a sense to convince the king that these people are not good for him and his land, or his rule over them. It's interesting. So Esther proves that you can't identify a Jew by appearance because, first of all, she hid. She didn't have to reveal that she was a Jew. And then even when they were getting persecuted, she wasn't going to, get caught because she was, married to the king. And so she didn't, she wasn't gonna be hunted like the rest of, I think, the regular people, the regular Jews. So I think they're identified by how they live. I think they're stalked and hunted in a way where they're identified by how they live and then killed off. So, and I think it's just, judging the moral compass of these people. They're not driven by money. They're not driven by greed. They have all these morals, and you find out what they are and you find these people, and that's how they're persecuted. So chapter 4 really proves that. And it's interesting how Mordecai responds to Esther by saying, line 14, "For if you keep silent at this time, relief and deliverance will rise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this." So he makes 2 points. The first is that if the Jews are persecuted here, the Lord is going to come back and destroy these people. And the second is that maybe you were put here to do this very thing, by the Lord. And so this is your role. So I think he makes great points. And then Esther goes on to, fast and get the courage to go in and ask the king to stop this. So that's really interesting, really cool. And also they fasted for this. They fasted for, it looks like, strength and courage and connection to God. So this is important to know as well. They were fasting to get help from God, right? And to get more of a connection to God, to get the Spirit of God in them for courage and strength and everything they needed. So that's awesome.